about what it would be like, and we're getting to this place biometrically soon enough. What would it be like if you had a heart rate monitor strapped to every person involved in this game? What you would see in that EKG is what Joe was describing. You would see a panic attack. And it is the thing that is so great about sports and so humiliating, is that we get to peek inside what it's like when you're faced with tremendous pressure. And the pressure imposed by Houston, to get to the second part of your question, this is the best defense in the country going up against the most efficient offense in Duke in the history of college basketball. And so when Duke is up by 6 with a minute to go, typically, you go through that graph throughout history, that is a win. Yep. You do need to tense up and choke that one away. And what we saw with Houston was a bunch of guys, incredibly well coached by Kelvin Sampson, who's looking for his first championship, who put the screws to a team that, again, I think America did enjoy watching panic like the dad in the White Lotus.
Duke couldn't even get an inbounds pass in. Duke, so we got Florida versus Houston tonight. And Paulo, briefly before you go, history made in the NHL. Wayne Gretzky, the greatest player of all time, his assist record, his points record, those will never be broken. But we thought the gold record would never be broken
We
either.
once said that as well.
And now it has been. Alexander Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals, he tied the record on Friday at home. He broke it right there yesterday afternoon on Long Island.
Yeah, Ovechkin, in short, is the player that Vladimir Putin thinks he is when he plays those exhibitions against his cronies. He scores a zillion goals whenever he wants. Ovechkin's doing that in the NHL. Ovechkin doing this for 20 years at about a 50-goal clip is remarkable, especially when you consider that last year, months ago, he had broken his leg. And so the whole idea of this machine not breaking, this machine breaking this record, instead, it's, John, sometimes you just have to, no matter what the surrounding geopolitical context, you have to say, this is a player who has a generational talent, cannot be denied, and it's a remarkable thing that he's done in this amount of time.
All right, MSNBC contributor Pablo Torre, thank you so much. And coming up on Morning Joe, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to visit the White House today. It comes as Israel has expanded air and ground operations in Gaza. We'll have the latest from Tel Aviv ahead on Morning Joe.
Some things are just better at home, like picking out new floors. For a limited time, step into savings with up to 40% off your entire project. Saving on new floors is just better at home. Call or visit EmpireToday.com for your free in-home consultation.
Toe fungus is tough to kill, and it can spread.
It's time to start using FungiNail. Maximum strength FungiNail is so powerful it cures and prevents fungal infections. Plus, it has aloe and tea tree oil to restore skin health. Say goodbye to toe fungus with FungiNail.
Your cardiovascular system is at the center of your heart health and at the center of every blood pressure supplement from human, clinically studied plant-based ingredients, inspired by groundbreaking science for all the moments your heart beats for. Get started today at livehuman.com.
Wearing regular shoes feels this cramped. For Clyde Step wide fit, hands-free Skechers slip-ins feel like this. The Skechers slip-ins, just step in, no bending down, no touching my shoes. Try wide fit Skechers slip-ins.
Apartments.com gives landlords the tools to manage your renters with ease. It's like having a whole team of yous. Look at this.
Just approved another application. Hey, Jim. Rent payment receipt. Woo! Mona Lisa. Ring the bell.
A housewarming, yeah?
Generating that lease, Jim.
I'm sorry, what's Don't join the team, no. Keep it work, no dancing. Apartments.com, the place to list a place.
Is your shower trying to tell you something? Is getting in and out of the bathtub becoming a safety concern? Are you worried about the cost of a bathroom remodel that could go on for weeks and weeks? Well, now you can have a gorgeous new bathroom shower with a one-day jacuzzi bath remodel that's safer at a price you can afford.
It's incredible that they were able to do this in one day. Oh my gosh. It is beautiful. Oh, you have to see it. It was amazing how they fixed that bathroom.
Bathremodel.com or call 1-800-319-4208. That's 1-800-319-4208. Call now.
Have the power to not stop it, to moderate it, to pick certain countries, Do they think it's gone too far? There are some Republicans speaking out. Chuck Grassley has spoken out about it. Ben Shapiro says it's unconstitutional. Bill Ackman, he's
There.
We are living the dream, Keith.
It's so good to be hanging with gemstones again.
Bullseye.
And now, the HBO original series Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
It has been a busy week. Cory Booker spoke for over 25 hours. Elon Musk tried and failed to buy an election in Wisconsin. And of course, this happened.
This morning, President Trump dramatically escalating his global trade war, announcing his most sweeping set of tariffs yet on goods from every country that trades with the United States.
This will be indeed the golden age of America. It's coming back.
Okay. If you mean golden age, the way we tend to describe the last decade before an old person dies, then yes, it feels like we are very much in the golden age of America right now. Thank you. Now, to explain his tariffs, Trump helpfully brought along a fun visual aid.
I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here, we didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart.
Well, that is smart, and it shows they really thought of everything that might go wrong while announcing their plan to shoot the economy in the dick. Although, I will point out, if wind was a problem there, and we checked with experts on this, the White House does have an inside part. Unfortunately, that chart is ridiculous for a number of reasons. For one thing, it features an estimate of tariffs charged to the USA by other countries that no one could figure out until a financial journalist realized it was just how much we export to that country minus how much we import from them, divided by how much we import, which is just stunningly dumb because those things have nothing to do with tariffs. It'd be like trying to figure out the square footage of your home by dividing your phone number by your dog's age, or taking your temperature by measuring your head's distance to the sun. It's not going to get you the answer that you're looking for. Now, the White House disputed that claim, releasing this more complicated looking equation they said they'd used, but people quickly pointed out that one symbol meant exports, one meant imports, and the other two numbers were variables set at 4 1/4, so they cancelled each other out, meaning it's the same stupid equation everyone said it was in the first place. And look, we all knew it was a matter of time before this show became me literally teaching you math. I'm just surprised it took us 12 seasons, but wait, because somehow it gets even dumber.
Every country on the list faces at least 10% tariffs. Even small, remote places like the Herd and McDonald Islands. They are near Antarctica and covered in glaciers, home to many penguins.
Oh my God. Imagine going back to 2015 and telling your younger self President Trump will enter a trade war with a remote island of penguins. Of understandable questions like, what are you talking about? And is this really what we look like in just 10 years? Do we drink water at all? Because we should. The market immediately crashed after the tariffs were announced, and maybe the best reaction to all this came from the CEO of Restoration Hardware, who was actually on an earnings call later that day. This is him discovering what was happening to his stock price in real time.
Where's our stock now? I mean, I guess the stock went down, based on some of the numbers we reported, and then it got killed because of oh really? Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. In fact, I'm not sure there's a better encapsulation of what it feels like to live through this Trump presidency than those 5 words. Oh, really? Oh, shit. Okay. And look, there'll clearly be more to say about these tariffs going forward. But for now, we're actually going to start with our main story this week, and it concerns an absolute fixation of the right. Because even as the market crashed in the wake of Trump's tariffs, Fox News spent a lot of time on this.
A women's fencer is defending her decision to take a knee to protest her trans opponent, despite getting disqualified for her forfeit.
A female fencer who's devoted years of her life to the sport was just disqualified.
This is the civil rights issue of the hour. Women's sports.
Here's a story that everybody's going to be interested in. A female fencer stands up for fairness in women's sports.
Wait, that's the story that everyone is going to be interested in? Are you sure about that? The story about fencing, and not the one that's caused the stock ticket in the corner of your screen to go bright red like an inflamed hemorrhoid? Also, I challenge those anchors to tell me one thing about fencing besides Lindsay Lohan did it against herself in The Parent Trap. I don't think you can do it. The issue of trans athletes has become very important to conservatives in general and Donald Trump in particular. He talked about it at length in his address to Congress and signed an order titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports, which promised to rescind all funds from educational programs that allowed trans women and girls to compete. And at the signing ceremony, he ad-libbed the creepiest compliment possible.
We're defending the rights and safety and pride of the American people, including our great female athletes. What athletes you are, too, tell you. And, you know, I'm not allowed to say this politically. It could end my career. They're really beautiful people. These are beautiful people. But you know, like everything else, it's a little bit different today. You're not allowed to say that because if you call a woman or a girl beautiful, that's the end of your career. But let's take a chance on it, Mike. Let's take a chance.
Okay, to be completely fair to Trump, I will say his understanding of women's issues is comparable to his understanding of foreign policy, domestic policy, trade, the economy, the concept of consent, human empathy, and all but one of his children's names. Trump leads every conversation with a psychosexual energy that makes the White Lotus look like the Teletubbies. I'm sorry, did the incest storyline bother you? Donald Trump joked about dating his own daughter on The View. He said that on a fucking morning show. At least White Lotus has the decency to air in the evenings right here on the Incest Network. Trump's order has already prompted the NCAA to institute a ban on trans athletes participating in women's sports, but he is not done. He's also trying to pull $175 million in funding from UPenn for allowing one trans athlete to compete 3 years ago. And when Maine indicated it would resist his ban, he threatened to cut off all its federal funding, despite the whole state apparently having just 2 trans girls total competing in girls' sports. 2! And I know you might be thinking, okay, but in Maine, 2 kids is like half the kids, right? But it's actually not. They've got more. This issue is an obsession.
I was wondering what all that wreck was. All the traffic was 2 people got rear-ended.
High school and youth levels. 24 states have now imposed bans on competing in schools. Even Gavin Newsom, pictured here as the villain in a Ryan Murphy production, recently said he thought trans athletes being allowed to participate in women's sports is deeply unfair, without really elaborating on what he meant by that. And for trans kids impacted by these bans, who just want to play sports with their friends, it's been hard, as this 15-year-old girl in New Hampshire explains.
It's been stressful and difficult. It's been annoying. I felt very annoyed and upset that this has been happening and that it's been happening towards a vulnerable community, like the trans community.
Yeah, and honestly, annoying is an understatement there. Annoying is what you say when your friend is late, or your Wi-Fi is spotty, or when you're a chicken minding your own business and suddenly you're on the news. You're hanging out eating dirty snow with 7 or 8 close friends, and then boom, all of a sudden the AP is doing a close-up of your feet. That is annoying. But I know people have strong opinions on this subject. In our post-election show, I said there are vanishingly few trans girls competing in high school sports anywhere, and even if there were more, trans kids, like all kids, vary in athletic ability, and there is no evidence that they pose any threat to safety or fairness. after that show aired, J.K. Rowling herself issued the single longest tweet I've ever seen in my life, in which she claimed, among other things, that I'm happy to watch females suffer injury, humiliation, the loss of sporting opportunities to bolster an elitist postmodern ideology. And honestly, it feels a bit weird to catch that much heat from the creator of Harry Potter, especially when I clearly look like what would have happened to him if they just left him in that cupboard for the rest of his life. Now, I stand by everything I said in that episode, but I will concede that this subject is more complicated than people should just use the bathroom that corresponds with their gender identity. And since trans participation in sports seems for some reason to be at the centre of our politics right now, it felt like tonight might be a good time to talk about it at real length. And in doing so, we're going to try and explain a few things. What the facts can actually tell us about trans athletes regarding competition and safety, where much of this seems to be coming from because it didn't crop up out of nowhere, and where it looks like things might be going. And let's start by acknowledging many people do have good faith questions about this, even if they're asking them a little clumsily. Here's an example of one of those questions about fairness, coming from a less than ideal source.
Let's say Serena's in her prime, and who knows? We'll make up the person, right? So let's not make up the person. Let's say that Rafa Nadal, has some issue, wants to transition, and it wins the Wimbledon final, or somebody wins the 100-meter dash at the Olympic. I think that's a.
In the tux and clean shaven was a persona that he had put on because that is what you did in showbiz at the time. It's like he de-transformed into who he actually was. And that's that great moment that every comedian wants to get to. It took me a long time to get to it, where the person that you are off stage is who you are.
Watch it and sort of begin to understand a little bit of what they went through, and that is an invaluable thing, because it's very it's an impossible thing to explain or talk about. So if that could happen, I think that's we did it for Elliot, and we did it for also vets to sort of have a little bit of a tool to try and explain these harder things.
And you can catch the powerful new film Warfare this Friday in theaters. Ray Mendoza, Kit Connor, and Michael Gandolfini, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Up next here on Morning Joe, MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle and CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin and Dom Chu. They'll all weigh in on the global turmoil surrounding President Trump's new tariffs. Also ahead, we'll show you Joe's sit-down interview with Oscar-nominated actor Tom Hardy and actor Patty Considine on their new crime series, Mobland. Morning Joe will be right back.
Your record label is taking off, but so is your sound engineer. You need to hire.
Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
For gentle, dependable constipation relief, try Senecot. It works differently than other laxatives because it's made from the senna plant, a natural vegetable laxative ingredient. Gentle, dependable Senecot.
Also available in delicious gummies.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today.
Choice of Disney Plus, Hulu, or ESPN Plus on us. Discover all the easy ways to save when you enroll in Boost today. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Monday morning, temperatures tumbling, and we could even see a rain-snow mix. Or weather meteorologist Ashley Barrissey timing it all out before you head out the door. Plus, all next week's Starting Monday, they are the spring cleaning hacks that could save you time and money. From walnuts on a scratched floor to ice cubes on a curled up rug. What really works? We're putting them to the test. Monday on Local 4. Expect more.
Watch Kimberly Gill weeknights on Local 4 News. On Wednesday, President Trump gave a speech in the Rose Garden announcing his economic vision for America, including tariffs against almost every country we do business with. And like everything else so far in his presidency, it was a total home run. We go now to an encore presentation of Trump's historically awesome speech.
My favorite word, tariff.
Running about 40 minutes behind schedule.
better at than negotiating is speaking soothing words of comfort in times of need.
We have heard from President Trump. He took to Truth Social, wrote this: the operation is over. The patient lived and is healing. The prognosis is that the patient will be far stronger, bigger, better, and more resilient than ever before.
Boy, I feel so much better now. Always reassuring when the surgeon comes out screaming at the top of his lungs, "The patient is fine! Everything is going great! Does anybody have a mop?" The thing is, the patient didn't need major surgery. We just needed a teeth cleaning. Keep it clean and shiny. No one wants to wake up from heart surgery to their dental hygienist shouting, "I think he's gonna live!" Also, the patient is gonna be bigger? Was the surgery a penis enhancement? If so, what kind? Was it latex injections, scrotoplasty, ligament extension, ventral phalloplasty, a fat transfer to enhance girth? I mean, I think those are the options. I don't know. Now, look, you could argue that it's bad that my retired 78-year-old mom is polishing up her resume now, but to Donald Trump, it's all worth it because we're correcting a grave injustice.
President Trump says the higher penalties come in response to tariffs those countries impose on American products they import.
Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple.
Yeah, it's very simple in that it is simply not true. All right, the reality is that the numbers on his board are not the tariffs other countries are charging us. They actually represent the trade deficit between the U.S. and those countries, meaning we buy more stuff from them than they buy from us. I'm just going to repeat this. Those numbers don't represent the tariffs. They represent that we buy more stuff from them than they buy from us. That means we're basically punishing other countries for selling us stuff that we want. This is like me going to John Barbados and beating the shit out of him because I like his socks. Why don't you ever buy my socks, John Barbados? I don't make any socks, but that's no excuse. But that's really what's going on. It's not actually about tariffs. It's about other countries not buying enough of our stuff. Although Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary and Cologne Sponge, had another way to put it.
I mean, the European Union won't take chicken from America. They won't take lobsters from America. They hate our beef because our beef is beautiful and theirs is weak. It's unbelievable. We can't sell corn to India. We can't sell rice to Asia.
Yeah, although I'm not sure tariffs are the reason we can't sell rice to Asia. I think they figured rice out about 10,000 years ago. Now, if they want to add aroni, well, then let us know. We got that. By the way, Europe's beef is weak? I'm sure that's not true. They famously have a running from the beef event where the beef tramples people. But you know what? I'm not too concerned about Donald Trump not understanding how his tariffs work because he's Donald Trump. He doesn't understand how to make money running a casino. The important thing is that there are adults in the room, like Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary and college dean who understands that boys will be boys. That guy's going to have the answers we need.
What do you expect the stock market to look like when it opens tomorrow in reaction to this?
I don't know.
Should we view these as permanent?
But, I think we're going to wait and see how this plays out.
Do you plan on having negotiations before that date?
I just don't know if there are going to be negotiations.
Canada and Mexico notably missing on that chart. Why is that?
I'm not sure.
I have a question. Do you know anything? Why are you out here doing interviews? It's not very reassuring to have the Treasury Secretary of the United States going, You know what? Maybe they can't give us clarification because there isn't clarification. We just assume they have a good reason for imploding the economy because why else would you implode the economy? But then you uncover something like this and you realize, I'm not sure they even know what they're doing.
Every country on the list faces at least 10% tariffs. Even small, remote places like the Heard and McDonald Islands, they are near Antarctica and covered in glaciers, home to many penguins, but no people.
Yeah. We put a 10% tariff. We put a 10% tariff on an island that only has penguins? Trump would have been better off tariffing that island Tom Hanks got stranded on. At least it had one guy in that little volleyball he was f***ing. Is this a mistake? Look, I know old people butt dial strangers all the time, but this is the first time I've heard of someone butt tariffing an entire country. For more on these tariffs, let's go live to that uninhabited penguin island with Grace Kuhlenschmidt. Grace, hold on. Wait, Grace, hold on. Why are you dressed like a penguin?
Because I'm a serious journalist, Michael. I wanted to embed myself with the locals to get the real story. And that's why I disguised myself as a penguin and learned their culture and mated with the hottest one.
The hottest one, but every penguin looks the same.
No, they don't all look alike, Jordan Klepper.
Okay, point taken. But Grace, I'm sure your reporting has shown that putting tariffs on the penguins is ridiculous.
Well, at first I too thought that Trump putting tariffs on this uninhabited island was a sign that he had suffered brain damage. But after spending a week here in negative 11 degrees and drinking lots of seawater, I totally see where he's coming from. The penguins are taking total advantage of America. We buy all their skin to make tuxedos, but have they ever bought any fish from us?
Okay, why would they buy fish from us? They're on an island surrounded by fish.
Yeah, but our fish comes in stick form. My grandfather was a fish stickerman. And these penguins are the reason he lost his job. Also, he got me too. Plus, America makes a lot of other things penguins don't buy. Soybeans, natural gas, grenade launchers.
Okay, look, penguins don't need any of that stuff.
Oh, why? Because they're too stupid?
No, because they don't have thumbs.
Well, they don't have thumbs while they're f***ing me either, but they're doing that perfectly fine.
Okay, Grace, okay. I think you've been in that suit too long. Why don't you just come home?
Costa, I have a family of penguins to look after. I'm a mother now, and oops, they just got eaten by a seal. I'll be home tomorrow.
Well, Grace Kuhlenschmidt, everybody, when we come back, we discover the next generation of hacks don't go away.
If there is something to find, I will be able to find it.
Tuesdays are for Tammy.
Are you ready to see the footage?
This April.
On his perceived enemies. Plus, a federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to return a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador. We'll have the latest on that legal fight. Morning Joe back in 90 seconds.
Liberty Mutual is all she talks about since we saved hundreds by bundling our home and auto insurance.
Hey kid, it's pronounced Liberty.
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 Liberty. I know she's mocking me. Very mature.
Hey, that's the nephew too.
Hey, I'm not the one acting.
Middle seat approved.
Just in the past 2 days,
Sean. Everything okay?
I'll be right back. Someone's threatening my son. You need help?
Shot of tequila never kill anybody, right?
I'm done playing your game.
Drop. Rated PG-13.
staff thrive. That's why our firm takes motorcycle accidents personally. Bikers know they need an advantage when they're hurt. The Bernstein Biker Advantage. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, better get Bernstein.
Breaking news demands more. A water main break, a case that has garnered a lot of attention.
Officers have to search every square inch.
So many gas lines were damaged.
When every moment matters, Local 4 expects more.
There's only one place to buy a new mattress. That's Gardner White. We guarantee the lowest price and payments. Have the largest in-stock selection, free same-day delivery and removal, and double the free gifts. Only at Gardner White Mattress.
Watch Aaron Drew and Damon Fernandez weeknights on Local 4 News.
You gonna stop?
Bye.